Everybody has predictions this time of year, and so do we. We're going to get into 9 predictions, maybe bold, maybe crazy, may not be that much. Right now on Sooner Intel. Good evening, and welcome back to Sooner Intel. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, along with my co-host, Kchris Griffin from the Horns Down podcast, and Mr. Mason, Chris Mason from Sooners 360. Of college football, especially those Oklahoma Sooners, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss a moment. Sooner Intel. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Good to see everybody in here. What's going on?
Not much, man. Ready to talk some football.
Yeah, man. Heck yeah. Bold prediction time. I don't know how bold some of these predictions are going to be, but
You say that, but you gotta actually hear us out, Jason. You can't just jump to conclusions, man. We got some stuff to say.
Yeah, I
the one
think
I'm talking about isn't that damn bold. I'm just going to say
It
it.
is. And trust. It will be. It will be because knowing you, Jason, you're gonna go off on a tangent because you're gonna disagree with me on something. So
I don't necessarily agree. Well,
we'll get
I don't
there.
know.
We'll get there.
We'll get into it in a minute. Man. It's
all
all
right.
good.
So,
But
all
hey,
right,
I did want to say, did we hit 500 subscribers on Mr. Mason's channel yet?
we did.
Yes, sir.
We crossed that barrier on around 6 o'clock today. So
Around 6 o'clock today. So it's just recent. Everybody, hey, appreciate that from all of our
that's
loyal
that's a
watchers.
that's a 3-week drive with the Daily Show, pushing me up nearly 75 subscribers in the last 28 days.
Man, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
It
Yep.
is, man. And we're on the way to 1,000 subs for the Horns Down Pod. I think we're about 30 away for you. Hey, Chris, 20 something, 20 or 30.
Yeah, I think I'm at last time I checked, I was like at 926. So help a brother out. Let's get over 1,000, y'all.
Yeah, it's time to get there. And I'm still 33 away from 5,000 subs, which is driving me insane. If we could just get there, it'd be great, man. I feel like I've been stuck in Groundhog Day for about 6 months now. So it's kind of wild, but hey, excited about it all. For the channel, we've been putting out a lot of great content. Mr. Mason, congratulations. Obviously, you've been busting your butt doing those daily shows, helping me with my channel as well, man. I certainly appreciate it. So, good congratulations to you, man. I'm excited for you, man.
Yeah,
All right.
the feedback on the daily stuff has been really positive from all the subscribers. A lot of your guys, Jason, have come over and really enjoying them. So I really appreciate your subscriber base for supporting me.
Hey, man, no worries. I'm glad to do it. Glad to help, man. We need to get over there, and all those guys need to get over there and make sure they are also subscribed to the Horns Down podcast. That would obviously put Kchris over that 1,000 sub mark, man. We've been working together for what? This is our 4th year, isn't it? Hey, Chris, you and I have been doing this, so at least in some way, shape, or form, the Sooner Intel Show, this is year 2 for that, so we're excited about that one. We've been doing lots of cool stuff.
That is true. That's funny to think about. Because we've done it with just about everybody else, did all this stuff, but it remains. We stay consistent no matter what. So
It is. I got to look in. I was kind of trying to clean off the desktop of all the crap that I have, all the video and all this other stuff. and going back through and putting it on my hard drive, and I started looking back at the past years and stuff. I watched a couple of videos from the first one. A lot of changes have happened
Oh,
to our shows, to say the least. We're definitely a lot different than we were starting off, but it's been a lot of fun, and I look forward to the next four. So let's make it happen. Hey, bold predictions. Maybe not necessarily bold. We'll start off with some Oklahoma predictions. I guess here that's the first thing on the list here. So let's take a look at that. Mr. Mason, you want to start us off? And
Yeah. So
'cause I think this is a great one.
So just to be clear here, so guys, this is patently stolen from Josh Pate, right? So he's doing his bold prediction thing all preseason.
Everything's stolen from everybody else. You don't have to give a bunch of love to Josh Payton.
All right, but we're gonna give a we're gonna give a bold grade out of 10 for this. So, hey Chris and Jason, I'm gonna give you my OU prediction. You have to tell me out of 10 how bold a prediction you think this is. All right?
Okay, I think we're losing your microphone. Or is it close by or something? Or did you move it?
Can you hear me now?
I got you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's so this is you guys are gonna give it a grade out of 10 on how bold you think I'm being. So my prediction is that freshman running back Jonathan Hatton seals the UGA game with a late fourth quarter long touchdown run. So OU goes to Athens and wins the game. That's part of the prediction. But the other part is that Jonathan Hatton, in like a Trey Sermon, similar to what Trey Sermon did his freshman year when he kind of sealed the game, sealed some games for us. He seals that game with a long touchdown run to put the game away.
Okay. All right. Hatton with a long touchdown run to put the game away. Hey, Chris, I'll let you start.
all right. For my OU prediction,
No. You got to get a comment on that, man. What
oh,
do you
give a
think?
comment
Is
on
it
that.
bold?
Give a
Is
comment
it?
on that. It is bold. It's definitely bold.
Out of 10, what's the boldness factor?
Out of 10, what's the boldness factor? I would say that's right around an 8 for me. I think that's an 8.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say. Yeah, I'm gonna go more to like I'm gonna say that's a 9 at least. So maybe not a 9.5 because I don't. It's not that I don't think that it could happen, but I would tell you that that's definitely it's definitely bold. Definitely bold.
All right. Do you guys think it's well? What do you think about it overall, though? Do the first part? Do you see? I think OU is they minus 10 for UGA right now on like the advanced odds. I think they are.
Well, actually, yeah. And adding that in, if you start talking about that, just winning the game in Athens. I mean, nobody's done that other than Alabama in years. So I think before Alabama, aside from Alabama, the last time that Georgia lost at home was what, to Florida in 2021. So
Yeah, that sounds right. Something like that.
yeah,
All
to
right.
beat UGA in Athens. I'm trying to add this little thing there. I mean, that's I guess that is. I think I'm going to pop that back up. I think I'm going to go 9.5 on that.
All right, okay, Chris. What would have made it bolder for you?
Chris Mason, I say 8. I'm kind of at a 9 with Chris Mason as well. I mean, not Chris Mason, but with Jason as well. Mainly for the fact that I kind of think there's two guys that are in front of him that's probably going to play. If one can stay healthy, and then if the other one is just electric like he was last year, right? So I kind of think you kind of got to factor that in as well. So if Hatton is the man and Hatton takes over, so be it. But that's just kind of my thoughts right there. That's why I think it's so bold.
So it's both bold from a UGA factor, plus you're kind of viewing Hatton as third string right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Knowing this team, obviously there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, offensively especially. But if they go on, I mean, this is the type of team right here, that defense, what we think that defense could be. if you have a pulse offensively and you're able to do things, and you should be able to with the weapons you're going to have this year, then this is a team right here that I can say could mess around, and at the very least, they're going to make this a 4-quarter game. I don't think this is something that's a blowout or anything crazy like that. I think this is going to go the distance to the point to where it may come down who has the ball last, or just like, who's more consistent throughout 3.5 quarters, right? But for me, I just think that X-Rob and then Blaylock right now, I'm still kind of eyeing them to really take the majority of the snaps this coming year.
Okay, all right. I will try to go. Like I said, I think Hatton has a chance to be the fourth quarter sealer for the fourth quarter killer for OU. I mean, you want to tackle that guy in the fourth quarter, and if he breaks free, he has a chance to house teams overplaying the run. If he gets through the first level, I think he has a chance to take it the distance. So, kind of like a Trey Sermon run against. Was that against OSU? Was that with the Trey Sermon run that year?
Yeah, it was. Yep. It was. And then he went to OSU.
Then he went to the other Ohio State. So yeah. So that's where I am. All right, Kchris, yours is coming up. I think you need to give a little more color to this, because if we bring up statistics wise, I'm not sure how bold this is.
So I picked John Mateer to throw for over 3,500 yards this season. Obviously, the broken hand, obviously, the offense, it was what it was. We can talk about that at a high volume, which we already have throughout the season and leading up to this podcast. But I just think that he has the weapons, honestly, this year. I think that, like Jason said, when he's in a line of fire, those mechanics and all the rest of that stuff are still going to creep in and all the rest of that. But Jason, we were there at the game, man. I mean, there's no excuses this year. I mean, you have guys that you could throw the ball to. I mean, you got the Livingstons, the Manny Choices. Inside, you have obviously Satania. You have Elijah Thomas, Jasir Rogers look great out there. The tight ends now, I think that you're going to be able to use them an awful lot. And I think with the right juice, the right confidence, the right everything, I think Mateer can get back to form. And I just think with the weapons around him, it's going to be key, the run game. But I think this offensive line is built to a point to where I'm not necessarily sure if we see a true shuffle. There's gonna be that beat and bow shuffle. Let's just be real. He's going to try to figure out who's his best five, right? But I feel like coming into the season, you have a good idea of what that five looks like already. You get what I'm saying? So I think when you factor those in, it's kind of less about Mateer and more about just how they built that offense around him this offseason, with a lot of the new weapons and a lot of just I think the keys to the offense, like I said in our past videos, that they have to potentially unlock this offense, the full capability of it.
All right, Chris, I'm going to give you a chance to maybe make this a little bolder.
Okay.
Can you give us the TD INT ratio for this 3,500-yard passing season?
I want to, because of this. If you want me to make it bolder, I'm gonna lay my nuts out on the line. Here we go. I'm gonna go 30. I'm gonna go 30. 32 touchdowns through the air, or 32 total touchdowns, however you want to say it. And I think with the interceptions, you're probably looking around, I would say somewhere between 10 and 12.
Okay, all right.
No, you say a number.
Say a number.
Just put 12 on there. How about that?
Good Lord. All right.
All right. So Kchris,
all right.
How many yards did he pass for last year?
So when I went and looked back, I thought it was around about 2,800, right?
2,800.
Yeah, basically 2,900. Yeah, 2,885.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know how bold I think this is. I mean, I like 4K would be bold, but 3.5 is a maybe like 70% passing rate would be bold. Like 30 touchdowns, like 7 INTs would be bold.
So Here's the thing, Chris Mason. This is what I go to.
It's bold. It's boldish.
I default to
Well, give
look.
us your number then, Mr. Mason. Give us your number.
Yeah, give us your
Well,
number.
all right, I think this has a 5 on it.
Whoa.
On
Whoa.
on the INT.
I gotta disagree with this. Let me argue for you real quick.
I think
Let me
my
argue
bold.
for you real quick.
Okay, so it was 5 before the 32 touchdowns. That's total passing and running?
I mean, if we're including running, I'd probably put that at like 40 touchdowns at the very least.
All right, well, okay, before the touchdown number I gave you, it was a 5 because I didn't think 3,500 yards is that bold a prediction based upon him starting 12 games, not 11 games. We're taking, regular season. We're talking just regular season, right? Not playoff game stats, just regular season, right? I just don't think that's that bold a number. So I would go 5. Now, if you're telling me he's got 40 total touchdowns and 12 interceptions, he had 11 INTs last year, so he's thrown one more pick. That's a little, I guess you could have said he was going to throw 20 interceptions. That would have been really bold.
That's not good. That's not bold in a good way.
Is that bold in a good way? So you were 5. It was a 5 before that. And now I'm going to give you a 7 on the boldness number with the 40
Wow.
total. 40
Man, he's
total,
grading it hard here, Kchris.
40
I gotta disagree. Here.
40 total touchdowns. That's pretty bold, but 3,500 passing yards. That seems like what he should be doing. Maybe that's bold saying, well, that's what he should be doing. So,
When's the last time you had a 3,500 yard passer? Did Dylan do it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, at 23 season was pretty.
Did he have 40 touchdowns?
All right. So let's go to 2023. All right, because we know that the numbers, So Dylan Gabriel passed for 36, 60, and 30 touchdowns. Okay, 36, 60, 30 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
Okay. So to have 40 total touchdowns, because he didn't add more than 1 or 2 on the ground, did he?
Let's just check here. He probably had
I
a
don't.
couple.
It seems like he had like 2 or 3.
Dylan Gabriel did Dylan Gabriel have 12 rushing touchdowns?
Probably so, because you remember in the goal line they ran a lot of that.
Yeah, so he had 48 total touchdowns.
All right. Well, let's see. Let me say this then. It's Super Bowl because Dylan Gabriel's a better quarterback.
Oh.
It's Super Bowl because Dylan Gabriel's a better quarterback. That's all there is.
You were worried we wouldn't have
You guys all know that I'll tell you that Dylan, he has a bit of a spaghetti arm. But as far as making decisions, doing the right thing, being a leader on the field, I got to go with DG on this one.
So
right?
I
don't think he's an NFL quarterback at all, Dylan. But I think as far as leading the team, putting them on your back, look at what he did in the Red River game. He's the last guy to have a damn touchdown in the Red River game, for Oklahoma. So, throwing that touchdown to Nick Anderson. So, to me, I think it's bold. I think that if you think that he's going to go out there and have better numbers than what we saw from Dylan Gabriel, because that's basically what this is, I think I'm going to put it at a 9.5.
I mean, to each his own. He has better weapons. He's going to have a better running game this year. He has better weapons than what Gabriel had. And then obviously,
better weapons means that you're going to have more rushing.
Comes into play, Jason. There's a lot of things that come into play. I think he's gonna have a chance to ball out this year. I really do. I think he's gonna have a chance to ball out. And
he's got a chance to ball out. He does.
Yeah.
But I think that balling out for him could be 27 touchdowns, having fewer picks and them running the hell out of the football, which I'll get to on my prediction, on one of my predictions here.
And again, with that being said, again, I think when you're saying, hey, I think he's accustomed to it now. He's been in the SEC for a year. We've seen him put up numbers. We know it wasn't in the SEC, but we saw him. You said put the team on his back. He put the team on his back a couple of times during last year. Some of those gritty runs, some of those keeping the drives alive. We've seen him make strikes. I think a healthy Mateer that stays afloat, that's not having to that trust his offensive line, I think that material can be really dangerous. Not to disagree wholly with anything that you're saying, because those are questions that need to be answered, but I think that he can have a really good year this year. And I think that with the new run concept, some of those things that are happening, you gotta wonder what's going to happen on that back end, because especially on some of those bootlegs that we're running off of the off of that wide zone, some of those other concepts like that, it's going to be really interesting, because especially if he's not having to think as much with like a true RPOs based game, but if he's actually doing play action, more of that. I like material coming out on that other side, making plays and coming out unscathed, because I really believe in this offensive line. And I think that may be one of the biggest differences this year. Not just the weapons on the outside, but also that offensive line. I think this year you're going to be ready to go from the start. So, no, like I said, not to disagree with you guys wholly, but I think he has a chance to really ball out this year if we could keep him healthy. If he stays healthy, I think he should be fine.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
Uh-huh.
I'm disagreeing with you because I think with all the new weapons and tools, he should be better than 32. He should be better than 12 interceptions, and he probably. And I just don't. I think 3,500 passing yards would be what I expect from him this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be honest, there'll be games when teams overplay the run, and with our passing weapons, he could have 350, 400 a couple of times. Because if we're running the ball successfully, teams are going to overplay us there, and we're playing a couple of SEC defenses that are a little going to be a little leaky this year, as opposed to last year. We played, for the most part, the second half of the season, other than the Tennessee game, we played some pretty decent defenses. I mean, overall. But yeah, I don't disagree with everything you're saying, Kchris. I just think 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 6 INT. I think the 32 TDs is a bold number, but the 12 INTs is one more than last year. That doesn't scream improvement to me.
I got you.
So,
I mean, to me, I think another thing that could set him over that 3,500, or at least put him at the 3,500, is that I think we got guys that are going to get a lot of yak yardage this year. If Trey Harris is as advertised from the film that we've seen, the highlight tapes, I think yak yardage is what you'll be looking at with a lot of these receivers out there, especially a guy like Satania. You saw what he did last year. So I think that'll be an interesting thing to sprinkle in on that.
All right, Jason.
OU fans have a bit different standard there, Dave, when it comes to offensive numbers. Okay, let me get back to it.
All right, you're up. You're up, Jason.
All right. My bold prediction. Torrey Blaylock becomes, and this is the reason I think it's a Super Bowl prediction for you to say that he's going to do all that. I don't know that you're going to have that. If you have all this kind of production together, Mateers plus this, and I think that you're the number one offense by a lot. I don't know that helps you defensively. So, but I'll tell you that Torrey becomes the first OU back since Eric Gray to have 1,000 yards, and as a team, they get 2,500 plus yards on the season. Let me get your scores.
Well, I think the Torrey Blaylock element is a little bold. I think that's considering we didn't see him in spring. Now, if you see the highlights of him working out with his dad, the kid looks in shape. So I think that's a little bold. I think if you had said, you will have a back go over 1,000 yards, that would be, I think I buy that as being like, yeah, that makes sense to me. The Sooner running backs gaining 2,500 plus yards. The last time OU had 2,500 yards rushing was 2023. They had 2,600 rushing yards. Yeah, let me see. And how many of that was Dylan Gabriel? And Dylan Gabriel was 479 of that. So I'm going to give you a strong 9 on that, maybe a 9.25. I think that's a seriously bold prediction, especially the 2,500 yards from the running backs. Overall, as a team, I could see OU running for 2,500 yards with a couple of hundred from Mateer, after sacks are taken out of the equation. But from the running backs, that's pretty damn bold. I'm not sure OU's done that. What was the last best rushing season by running backs was what, probably 2019. What did we get rushing that year? Because all we did was run the damn ball. We ran for 3,200 yards that year, but again, Jalen Hurts was 1,200 of that. So,
Whew.
Yeah.
so that's
Jalen
3,200
was a
rushing.
different dude, man. It was
Yeah,
a different dude.
3,200 rushing yards, 1,200 from your quarterback. That's a run and attack right there. So I think that's a damn bold prediction. I love it, Jason. I love choosing Torrey Blaylock as the primary back, going with that. And I think it's a damn bold prediction. I like it.
Okay, Chris, rip it up.
I'm gonna go 8.1. My thing is this right here with Blaylock. I think for Blaylock, obviously, we've all seen the off-season stuff. The 217 pounds, put on the weight. I think the shoulder is healthy. All the rest of that. My thing is just be the burner. I know the speed is still there. I just want to see him kind of just run the space. It's fine to be that power back, hit somebody. You want them to be violent, all the rest of that stuff, but at the same time, you want them to be healthy as well. I just don't see we X-Rob and Blaylock, they have to understand. BV says it all the time. Best ability is availability. So that's just my thing. Like I want to see him do that. Can I see him getting to 1,000 yards? Yes, I think in this scheme and all that, especially, I think he has good vision. And that's coming from somebody who goes back and watches that South Carolina game an awful lot just to see what the basics of this offense look like when they're just able just to run it at full wheel, which is just kind of basic ball. Mateer distributing correctly to his wide receivers, not having to take any crazy chances or shots, just run a lot of fundamental stuff, basics of the offense. But in that game, you see Blaylock with great vision, getting to the edge, making great cuts inside. You see a lot of that. And, say what you want to say about South Carolina, but that's still a decent defensive line with or without Edwards, right? So they're going to field a pretty good defense. But to do that on the road as a freshman, I loved it. I loved it. So that's something as well.
I think the running back duo play is a big reason why I think that he's going to have a big year too. I love the play myself, and it's going to give him opportunities to kind of do some different stuff. I think he can run between the tackles. I don't think he's obviously S4L is saying, he's not a between the back runner. He can be. This guy's he's bumped up his weight to 218 pounds or whatever it is now at this point. He's got breakaway speed, and he's not afraid of contact. We've seen that.
And that's the thing for me is the reason why I'm saying is because with this new scheme, and Chris Mason and I have talked about this plenty of times. Check out our recruiting pods on Monday together. But I've definitely said, with this new scheme or whatnot, it's built going downhill pretty much. It's no longer just hey, you need to be patient behind 2 or 3 blockers and then finally see that cut, that hole or that gap or whatever to burst through. This one's kind of like, hey, you need to declare and go ahead and go. Get that one-on-one matchup that you want, run through the trash, get going, And I think with a scheme like this, it could fit somebody like Blaylock to where, hey, you could be explosive now. You don't have to necessarily we don't need you to be a bruiser. You can do that from time to time, especially when we got to go pick up a first down to keep the drive alive. But at other times, we need you to kind of be that burner. But on the back end of that, the Sooner running backs gained 2,500 yards. I think that's definitely on the table. If I split up my number of an 8.1, I would say it'd probably be 7.1 goes towards Blaylock, and then there's that 1.0 that goes to that. I think that's a huge possibility just because of the backs that we have in the room. Because after that spring game, I left there thinking, I think we have guys out there. I think Avant can get it done. I think Stevenson definitely can get it done. Hatton can get it done once he actually declares and understands what this system is asking him to do. And obviously Blaylock and X Rob, I think all of them can get it done as well. So it'll be interesting.
All right, I've taken a look at some stats real quick. And Jason, I am recalculating your boldness grade to a 9.75.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay? Because the last time
whoa.
OU had 2,500 yards rushing from their running back core, just their running back core, was 2017. That's Baker, MF, and Mayfield. That's Rodney Anderson on an absolute burner of a season. Trey Sermon and Rodney both averaging 6 yards a carry. That's Abdul Adams with a 100-yard carry against Baylor, and Marcel Sutton with 130 yards somehow. That's the last time OU had 2,500 rushing yards. That's a Joe Board award-winning offensive line. That's 2 first-round draft pick wide receivers. And that's the best quarterback in OU modern post-2000 OU history, playing some shitty-ass Big 12 defenses, not SEC defenses. So
True.
I've moved your boldness factor up to 9.75. I think you're dead on that a Sooner back is going to go for 1,000 yards this year. I think Torrey Blaylock is as good a guess as anybody. But if you said 2,500 total yards, I could have totally be on board with that.
Yeah, and I'm saying with Sooner running backs, I think that's the important part. That's the boldest part.
I mean, you are correct. That is super bold. I mean, when we're talking about the best,
I think that Mateer can't. If you get him anywhere up that 500 plus mark as far as rushing, that's going to require a number of attempts. We're not talking about freaking Caleb Williams here or Kyler Murray. You know, that's not what we're looking at as far as what material. He's a smart runner. You know, he could be a surprise runner, but for him to get to 500 or more again this year, I think that, and I don't know if he finally got to a full 500 yards with all the losses.
He was close.
He was pretty close. But I think if you're approaching that, then you're also putting him in danger a lot more than we want to see him in danger.
No, you're right. But 2,500 is from the running backs. That's a bellwether high water mark. I mean, they didn't hit that.
Yeah.
They barely went over that in 2008, and went over it in 2017, with Mayfield scrambling for like 300 yards. I mean, if Mateer scrambles like Baker did in 2017 and got 250 yards, that's sort of what you're thinking and hope he does, right? If he has 250 positive yards, that's sort of what you would want from him, right, Jason? Something like that. Not 500.
I think so. I think he needs to only run like somewhere between 5 and 6 times a game average, rather than 10 to 18 or whatever it was last year.
Okay, all right. I mean, I think it's a bold statement. I think it's an interesting one, because if they do hit that number, they hit 2,500 yards rushing from the running backs. Historically, that says we have a very good offense and a very good offensive line. Very good.
Like I told Jason on when Jason was after the game, when he's taking me back home, I said, "Hey Jason," I said, "I think this year when you see 5 wide, you're gonna have to actually game plan for it. You're not just gonna see them go 5 wide, 4 wide, and then Mateer does a QB blast every single time." I said, "I think now you're gonna have to actually game plan, because I really do believe that you have the weapons now." So I think that all those design runs from Mateer, I don't think they're necessarily there. I think you may give them the look, but I can quickly see you like audible to something that then, making them shift, do all the rest of those things, causing a lot of chaos there at the line.
Eye candy would be a good thing, right? Eye candy would be a good thing. Dave's here says, as part of the offense, I don't think you want Mateer not to run as much as he still has to rush. I think that this is the $1 million question with John Mateer. Whenever you start, can he be the quarterback that this offense needs him to be, which is not to put himself in danger? Because when you look at what they were when he was hurt and when he wasn't hurt, there was a big difference. And so, his decision making changed. I mean, he was already apt to make, questionable decisions, but you wanted him. He was able to go down the field too, so that it was something that you didn't mind. You probably wouldn't have minded the 11 interceptions if they weren't. If some of them were,
30.
like a punt, to where you're taking a deep shot on 3rd and long or whatever it is, or whatever, and it kind of turns into a punt. But where you're putting those defenses in jeopardy, that's something that you always look at as spread offenses and stuff like that. You don't want them to be afraid to get it down the field, because that's a big part of what you do. Otherwise, if you don't do that, they're not going to run the ball very well. They're not going to run the ball very well. If they don't have to, if they don't have to acknowledge and respect your deep game, your running game sucks. Go ahead.
Can I say one thing about it? So this is the interesting part, like just coming out of the spring game. So I think it's two things with Mateer. I think it's first off, if the pocket collapses, you want to see what he was doing, what he's been working on, continue. You want that to kind of carry over. He started working that pocket. He started working himself up, right? Still looking down the field, not flat-footed, but his feet are active, but they're not happy feet, right? He's not leaking. He's climbing up in the pocket. That way, he's decisive about leaking out. I think the other thing that you have to feel a little bit better about is his willingness to throw. And what I mean by that is that when he does leak out, when he does feel that pressure coming at him from that DN, right, who gets on that weak side or that blind side, he leaks out, but he's willing to throw it to those taller wide receivers on the sideline. Guys like Manny Choice, Livingston, all of them. I think that's the interesting part. Can he? We saw him leak out, but still, keep his stance well enough to where he tried to layer that pass to Mackenzie Allen out there. Didn't connect, but it was a beautiful ball. You're like, hey, if he can make those type of throws, those are NFL balls, right? He was making smart choices down there, but I just think that's a testament to what you went out there and got in the transfer portal this offseason. I think that he would probably tell you himself that he feels
be a little careful about predicting off of the spring game, but I get it.
I get that, but again, when you're looking at those receivers, we're talking about the intangibles, those NFL tangibles.
No doubt about it. You didn't even have Satania play for as much as you definitely could have probably played.
Again, Jason, like I said, I get what you're saying. Don't go too much off the spring game, but again, there's a difference between throwing outside to a 5'9", 5'10" guy and throwing to a 6'3", 6'4" guy.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
That's kind of the biggest difference whenever you can make those passes and trust that, hey, now he doesn't have to throw. It's not necessarily throwing angle. It's simply the fact of like, hey, I'm not throwing to this guy's chest. Opposed to I could throw a gimme ball, a true 50-50 ball, and tell somebody like Manny Choice, go get that. Get what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm coming from with that.
Okay.
All right, guys, you ready to move on to the college football predictions? The general college football stuff?
Yeah, we can. Give me 1 second, man. I'm trying to get these layers down right so that everybody sees all this.
Yeah,
stuff.
no worries. Jimmy Satterfield, I think you had a good prediction there. I like what
a bold prediction, right?
Bold prediction. I liked what you were saying there. I thought that was a good prediction. I'd like 2 1,000-yard receivers and a 400-yard tight end. I mean, I think
take that any day.
If OU has that, I mean, there's like silly stats out there that, if OU did this, what do you think their record would be? I'd be stunned if OU wasn't like 10-2 if they had that kind of production from their wide receiver and tight end game, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys can go ahead. Or actually, real quick, give me 1 second and I'll have it there.
All right, guys. So I asked my fellow co-hosts to come up with some college football predictions, bold predictions about the college football game, and come up with and just to be clear here, my first prediction and my second prediction are mutually exclusive. Do not ask me to explain one without the other. Okay? Okay? Don't ask me. So I think the winner of Notre Dame Miami does not make the college football playoff. And I think that winner is Miami, and somehow they stumble 2 places with the rest of their schedule.
I'm gonna have to look at this schedule real quick because I don't see that. I'm not sure that I see that
Well,
one.
I mean, I didn't see them losing to the teams they lost to last year either. So
Yeah,
this
but
is
they're that
this
the
is
ACC is ass.
yeah, but they was asked last year, and they still somehow lost 2 conference games. So I'm not saying Notre Dame doesn't win. I'm just saying the winner of that game isn't in the college football playoff. And if you're asking me to justify it, I'm saying Miami wins that game and somehow stumbles their way out of the college football playoff because somebody else wins the ACC and takes that bid. And as a 2-loss team that's not a conference champion, they can't. And the 2 losses they have, they can't get into the. They can't get in there. So
I'm gonna let you go there, Kchris. I'm gonna pop this. I'm gonna pop their schedule up real quick while we're at it.
Chris Mason on a boldness factor. I'm only gonna go a 5.5, mainly because I think you're only half right. I think that Notre Dame is kind of unless that clause truly kicks in for them or whatnot. But Jason would have to remind me what the clause actually says in full detail. But
Top 12. It's just top 12.
oh yeah, I Chris Mason. I kind of find it hard for them to make the playoffs if they lose any big games because I think their schedule is.
that's not what I'm saying though.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna read it again. The winner of Notre Dame Miami.
Oh, the winner.
The winner doesn't make it.
Doesn't make it.
My fault. Okay. The winner doesn't make it?
The winner doesn't make it.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
the-
I think
I
I
said the
put that at a
winner-
9.75. He's batshit crazy. What are you talking about? I want to say the winner because the only game that really scares me on this schedule for Miami is I think they got, let's see, I don't know what Clemson is going to be this year.
Right.
No Florida.
That shit crazy.
Virginia Tech is the only one that Virginia Tech is really the only game that I'm like that's an interesting game
Yeah.
because their schedule.
Okay. This
They're
is
gonna
Is
have-
Virginia Tech, I mean, how interesting is it? That's the thing. You've got, because if you look at, at Stanford, I guess making the trip out west could be whatever, but Florida State, I don't know. I mean, if Jaden O'Neal was going to be available, maybe he isn't. So I don't really see that. Pittsburgh, maybe no.
I'm telling you, this is
it's
bold.
Notre Dame and it's Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, and 2 losses. Because I think they changed their tiebreaker rules. 2 losses doesn't keep them out of the conference championship game, which probably puts them in. No way. I think it's almost unbelievably. I don't see it happening. I'm gonna put it as a 9.9 because I think you're also batshit crazy.
I was like, hey, Chris, 5-5 for that? What the hell are
My
you
fault.
talking
Like
about?
I don't know why I was stuck on them on the loser, but you said winner, Chris Mason. What were you doing today? Were you?
I was coming up with bold predictions, not John Mateer throwing for over 3,000 yards.
I'm sorry. I was just wondering. Like, look. I get it, but you're hallucinating.
Lay up. I mean, come on.
Hey, look, the MMJ, the marijuana, the Sacagawea. It must have been pretty good today because that's insane. That's insane.
Wow. All right. Okay.
Oh man, 47 straight says if we have 2 1,000-yard rushes and 2,500 yards rushing with the defense we're expecting, sheesh. Yeah, that's a national championship type of season.
All right. Well, you guys have
That's
taken.
murderer's row compared to Notre Dame, says Dave. If you look at Notre Dame, now obviously, let me get rid of this and I'll pop Notre Dame's up there in just a second. But let's look at it in terms of if it was Notre Dame that lost the game.
All right. No, they win the game, but don't get into the CFP.
Oh, win the game. No, well, I think that winning the game almost assured. I mean, let me show you this real quick.
That schedule is doo-doo.
Doo-doo. Stinky doo-doo. Real bad.
It's like more appropriate for the Fighting French. which they actually are, not the Fighting Irish to begin with, but that's a whole other issue.
Oh my goodness! Here we go. Uh,
Jeez, man.
hey, listen, I thought I was the only one that would get off on the French, because I can't stand their asses. But
Well,
but
I
I'm
mean,
glad. I
remember,
forget that you're being a UK guy. It should be a normal thing. It shouldn't surprise me.
Henry V,
All right.
my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Green Bay? Interesting.
All right. So yeah, looking at this one, yeah, because look, Wisconsin is ass. Michigan State, I mean, they might get better,
They're
but
green.
they're not.
They're green. They're Greek
They're
ass.
super green. They got a brand new
They're
coach.
green Greek ass.
Right. Purdue, nut doo doo. Purdue. At North Carolina, no.
Is Belichick?
BYU, it goes BYU, Navy, Miami. Now, all three of those games are in a row.
And
I
smooth.
think if they lose two, people are saying if they lose two, they're going to miss the playoff. But does that take them out of the top 12? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I think losing two of those right in a row, in that stretch there, and even if you add in SMU, I don't know. I don't think this is much worse, honestly, than Miami's, if we're being honest.
It's both wholesale.
They both suck. Both these schedules are ass.
Wholesale crap, as my brother would say.
Yeah.
Or actually, they're giving crap a bad name.
So I think that the fact of the matter is, the winner of this thing, I don't see the only real chance to lose is the Miami game for Notre Dame. To me, maybe the BYU game playing in Provo is going to be. I think that's going to test them in ways that they won't have been tests like that all year.
The question
Maybe that sneaks up on you, but I don't see them losing two of those games. I just don't see them doing it. So if they win against Miami, I think that the chances that Notre Dame not making it in is slim and none, and Slim just walked out of the room if they beat Miami.
I think the interesting part about it is just looking at the 17th and the 31st. What does that look like? What does that look like? I guess just weather wise and everything. Not saying that they can't play in the cold. We already know Indiana, they're going to play in the cold. But the BYU game,
off of a Notre Dame game.
Yeah, the BYU game is interesting, mainly because just the time difference,
nighttime in Provo is no. I don't care who it is, who goes there. It's going to be a tough game. I think that'll test them. Seriously, it'll test them if they're able. But that being a road game, I think that they. I mean, they could get tested for sure by Miami as well. But I think if they were to lose at BYU, they're going to beat Miami.
Here's a question, Jason.
Except I do like Darian Mensah too.
Grayson, I don't say it's Grayson. Jason, this is the real question about Notre Dame this year. Is just how do you replace those two first round running backs? Don't get me wrong; they can sit there and say they got.
Williams a bad dude. He was already looking really good when they gave him spot carries last year. It's not like they haven't continued to load up the room, Kchris.
I get it, but hey, look, we always talk about, especially as hard as we are on OU about a whole bunch of stuff. It's still hard to replace two first round running backs like a Jeremiah Love and then the other kid that went late first round as well. CJ Carr, at times CJ Carr was Heisman worthy, and then at other times he was just a true game manager, which is not the worst thing. Not a bad thing at all, but at the same time, it's just like, does he take a step? Do those wide receivers kind of take a step and kind of balance that offense?
They did add some good receiving talent, and then they've got Greathouse coming back. I think that he takes a step forward. Year two with Mike Denbrock. The last time we saw that was at LSU with Jaden Daniels. He wins the Heisman Trophy. Obviously, I don't think that CJ is as much of a dual threat type of a guy, but I also think that he doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
they're gonna have a commitment to running the football for sure. They are. Their defense is probably as good or better than it's been in a long time. I think Notre Dame listen, I understand people are going to talk all the shit they want to talk about Notre Dame, deservedly so. They play Sisters of the Poor bullshit schedule. They have been doing that, and they've been doing it a lot.
go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
as far as talent is concerned and the coaching staff that they have there, they're nasty in the trenches. Their secondary is going to be really good. Their offensive line has always been very good. They've been the most elite offensive line to me since 2020, probably. I don't really see a lot of weaknesses here.
Well, let me ask you guys this, and then my last thing, we can move on to the next one. But traveling to Provo, then the next week you got to travel to Foxborough. Not even worried about the Miami game because you get that at home. But are you flat on one of those games right there with all the travel? Traveling from Indiana to
Well, you
Utah.
got 2 weeks
traveling back.
between BYU and Navy, though.
You said what?
You've got 2 weeks between BYU and Navy.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think they could be flat for BYU coming off of playing nothing but dogs, but just dog water, coming into it. Are they ready for what they're going to see from BYU? Now, not that BYU plays, their Big 12 schedule is going to test them tremendously either. But yeah, I think if you're going to have, I think their tough game is going to be at BYU right off the bat because of the fact that it's whether or not they beat Miami. I think they could or may not beat Miami, but I think that the question is going to be, do they beat BYU? I don't know that you can afford to lose 2 games with this unless SMU's really good and they find a way to win that one too.
All right.
But we'll see.
I'll put
They
down
beat
that.
Navy
I'll
and
put down
flip-flop.
the.
They should've,
I'll
you
put
say
down
that,
the.
but
I'll put down the Amsterdam hash pipe and let's move on to the next topic.
okay. All right. Yeah. Let me work on this a little bit.
Like the video, people. If you haven't, subscribe all 3 channels, by the way. Jason, whenever you're ready.
All right, so Kchris is
Yeah, go ahead.
finally bringing the boldness with this after his
This is weird, man. This is such a weird one.
it is bizarre.
Chris Mason asked for bold. I gave you bold. People, look, we're going to travel back in time and we're going to go to the Big 12, okay? I know that's kind of foreign for some of y'all right now because we're so hell bent on winning this SEC, but I got Baylor making the Big 12 championship game this next year. I think that's a real thing that can happen. I looked at the schedule, wasn't necessarily happy about the last 3 games because you're gonna have to go all out. Tech, Houston, all the rest of them in there. But what I say is I think the Big 12 is a little bit open, especially with Sorsby being out. We don't know what Oklahoma State.
Baylor, though? Baylor?
I like DJ Lagway, man.
All
I
right.
like DJ Lagway.
So let's roll this back. So, Kchris, this is
Somebody help this guy out, bro. He needs an intervention. What are we talking about?
But I'm the opposite way. I'm like, this is like you were approaching the chalice of boldness, and you picked it up, and you were about to take a big swig, and you were like, maybe. I mean, it should be Baylor wins the Big 12. That would be bold. So you picked the chalice up.
We're just saying anything now, huh? We're just gonna say anything.
Yes, you pick the chalice up. Because if they're in the title game, weird shit happens. They could win it. So I'm gonna go. Okay, Chris, you went up to 9, but you could have gone to like 9.75. You could have entered Mount Olympus of boldness, and I'm giving you a 9.0. I mean, it's for you, it's really bold, but you could have taken that chalice and taken a big swig.
I mean, if you want me to change it, Jason.
No,
Jason.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Look,
that's where you are. I think it's a bold statement. I think you are completely right. The Big 12 is wide ass freaking
Say
open.
9.0.
I gave him a 9.0 because I think Baylor would be like the 6th team that I would boldly pick to win the Big 12. Maybe the 7th team, maybe the 8th team. So I think it is a bold ass prediction. Well done, Kchris. That is a 9 on my scale because personally, I would have, if we were reversing this to things that will happen, I would have said Dave Aranda gets fired by Halloween. So you are definitely bold with this.
Yeah. Listen, come on, man. Are we really being serious about this here?
Jason,
Baylor,
check this
brother,
out, Jason.
brother,
Hear me
they're
out.
trash.
Hear me out. Hear
They
me
were
out.
so bad last year. They fired the AD instead of the coach.
Jason, hear me out on this. Hear me out
Well,
on this.
well, he had some other off the field issues, but it's all right.
I know.
Hear me out on this.
All right.
Two names: DJ Lagway, Dave Aranda. That defense will be fine. You guys will see what will happen. Okay, first game of the season, they will go and beat Auburn, and they will beat Auburn by 10 points. They're going to beat them by a touchdown and a field goal.
Well, you
okay?
could have led with that. That's freaking bold as shit.
That's
Yeah, you
so-
could have just said that.
I'm just letting y'all know. You guys will see it on display. Less pressure, less outside noise. I think he gets back to his element. I think you see him improve with the offensive coordinator. I think you see a continuation of what Sawyer Robinson was doing. But I think DJ Lagway is a complete package. I think he's a real deal. We've seen the spark from him. That shoulder should be healed by now. I think he gives them a boost. Overall, Jazz, and hey, I think that stadium is going to be loud. I think it's going to be raucous. I just
That game's in Atlanta.
I know that game's in that game's in Atlanta, but I'm just
All
saying I got a feeling. I think Baylor's going to have a pretty good ride this year.
So like good year, bad. The good year, bad year thing with Baylor is kind of what you're going with, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. Okay. Like the Shane Beamer thing. Okay. And OU detractors. That's the Brent Venables thing too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm with 47 straight. It's like, get some help. Just stop. Somebody call Unc.
All right. So is it more bold than my prediction?
Yeah, it's just I don't even think you can get it in the 10 scale. It's not happening. They suck over there.
So
I
is
think
this
it's
like the
wild to talk about? I think that this league comes down to K-State and BYU, and then Texas Tech because of the shittiness of its schedule. It's going to play into that as well. Baylor is not part of this. It's not part of the equation. I'm not even paying attention to the silly part. I think
All right.
I mean, it's just
All right.
wild to me.
All right.
Let me get back to the thing so I can throw mine in there. I'll give it to you guys in a second.
I've given Jason a grade. Jason's given this a score of 11. The Spinal Tap, 11 out of 10. It's the speaker amp that goes to 11.
Yes, indeed.
If you guys are too young to get that reference, go stream Spinal Tap from your platform of choice.
From your yeah. All right, this ought to piss a few people off, but I love it. So I don't know how bold it is considering the things that I've said lately, but let's just pretend. Somebody read it out.
All right. Go, Jason. Read us your
Yeah,
prediction.
Texas misses the playoff for the second straight season as one of the preseason national championship favorites. Arch Manning enters the NFL, meaning that the Manning clan continues to be over in national championships and likely Heisman's too. I think that their schedule is too much. I think it's too much for them to go without winning, without losing at least 3 games. And I just think I feel like it should be self-explanatory. On
Jason, just one
Tear it
question. I don't think you're tearing it. I don't think it's a tear apart. I mean, they dropped the Ohio State game 2, and they're staring us right in the face because, as you said, their SEC schedule is the most difficult schedule from an SEC perspective they've faced since they joined the SEC.
That's true.
So I guess the only question I have, Jason, do you just a gut reaction, just a quick yes or no? Does any 9-3 SEC team have a chance of making the college football playoff?
I think you'd have to have a bunch of them. I think you'd have to have maybe one 10-2 team or one 11-1 team and no other.
Like two teams that have separated at the top and like 4 or 5 9-3 teams.
Yes.
That's what you think. Okay. All right.
do.
That's
I do.
fair. I think this is considering Texas is the 3rd favorite to win the national championship, that's what it looks like right now.
It kind of depends on where you're looking, but
Yeah, they're 2nd or 3rd depending upon where you're looking. Looks like I asked Google AI, and they said they were 3rd. So we'll give that whatever value it is. I think this is a bold prediction. Preseason, not having seen their O line and not knowing what their O line looks like, I'll give this. I think this is a strong. I give this an 8. This is a strong 8 to me in boldness.
Okay.
If they could take care of Ohio State, I think they have a chance to go 10-2. If they drop the Ohio State game, things are going to get real tight for them. Same thing with OU and Michigan. OU's got to win that Michigan game with their schedule too. So for both those Big Ten SEC matchups, week 2, I don't see the losers of those making it to the college football playoffs. But we'll see.
Does Tennessee give you any type of doubt?
Yep.
And did they scare you just a little bit with that game? Obviously, we got to go to Athens that day. Where I will not even give a shit about whatever Texas does. That is a big time game right there. If you're going in there, win. Let's speak it to existence. I have a strong feeling about that. But when you go in there into Athens 3-0, I think all eyes are on Georgia. Nobody gives a shit. Kirby Smart, all the rest of that's what we care about. But Texas going into Tennessee.
Rocky Top at night.
Yeah.
That could be that's an ambush. That's an ambush for a team that has not historically played well on the road. Texas hasn't played well on the road in the SEC. They're not a historical road team. And
make no mistake, too, something to think about with that is Tennessee fans do not like Texas at all. This whole who's the real UT stuff is bigger than you probably think it is. But the other deal is that defense, do they pick up the defense quickly? Because you've got a guy that obviously coming into it, you look at it, Ohio State took a few years to kind of understand it, to be able to figure it out. They've got a lot of production coming back. It wasn't good production, but they've got a lot of production coming back. I think the question is how good is the offense? They've got a ton of production coming back as receivers, but their quarterback is brand new, and neither one of them's played.
And that's the scary part, because
good O-line, good running back, good wide receivers, but who's the trigger man?
I felt, each year when they drop those Athlon anonymous, peer reviews, as I like to call them, every once in a while there's a couple that actually hit home, and you're just like, I actually agree with that. And I think the most recent one about Tennessee this year was just like, hey, we all know the offense can be electric, but it's all contingent upon whether they have a good quarterback or not. Like, just having a good quarterback in that system gets you only so far. Having a Hendon Hooker, before the injury, hell, you're setting the world on fire,
Yeah. But we also know that Josh has done a really good job even when he didn't have a really good quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an ambush game, and Tennessee needs. The thing that Texas is facing most with this schedule is they're going to be facing desperate teams at desperate times, right?
Yeah.
Ole Miss, LSU, A&M, and they could. Let's just put it out there. They could be facing a absolute back against the wall, desperate Oklahoma team in October. We weren't that way last year. We were undefeated heading into Texas. Mateer had got hurt. We were riding high, but we could be. If OU drops the Michigan game and Georgia game, they are playing for their season in Dallas in a lot of ways. They could be doing the same thing against A&M and LSU. A lot of 2-loss SEC teams could be facing Texas with their backs against the wall and their seasons on the line. So I think Texas, last year it's one thing when Kentucky's season is going south. It's another thing when you're playing Mississippi State. It's another thing when you're playing Arkansas. But when you're playing LSU, Ole Miss, and A&M on the back half of your schedule, and all three of those teams have playoff aspirations, I don't think Texas has faced that kind of lineup of desperate teams
on both sides of the Red River game too.
They got Tennessee,
Ohio State, obviously Tennessee, and then Oklahoma after that. Then
Florida.
Then you've got Ole Miss. You've got Florida and Ole Miss. Both of them are at home, which is helpful. But then you're on the road with LSU and Tennessee, along with some teams that may freak some people out. And as far as Mississippi, I'm telling you, I think Mississippi State finishes in the top half of the league this year. I really do. I
I
think
think
that
they
Mario
beat.
Taylor is that kind of guy.
I think they beat someone they have no business beating. I just hope it's not OU in Starkville.
Ditto.
Yes.
Ditto.
All right. So give Jason's prediction a number, Chris. Somewhere between. I got it at 8.
I want to say about a 8.4.
right.
I can't go to 9. I say about an 8.4. I think it's not out of question that they do make it, but it's interesting because this schedule is definitely tricky. Got to make it through that first half of the season all the way through October 10th. That's a must have on those games to really give yourself a chance.
Right.
All right. So, all right. Let's move to the next prediction. This one is less controversial than apparently my hallucinogenic mushroom-induced trip into the Notre Dame Miami game. So I'm saying not only do we have a different national championship game in terms of the teams involved, I think we have a totally different Final Four. So just to tell you how, just to be clear, that means no Oregon, no Indiana, and no Miami.
All right. 1 second here. I'm going to do that, and then I want to help you with that because I don't think. Let me see.
I could give you a Final Four as a
do it. I mean, let's
okay.
say that because.
So I think you'd have I see a Final Four of, and again, this is a prediction. It's not tied to my previous prediction. They're not a combined prediction. So throw prediction out, one out the door, right? So I think a Final Four of Ohio State, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, and who else do I want in there? Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Georgia. That's your Final Four. 2 SEC teams on other sides of the bracket get through into the semis. So you have Notre Dame, Ohio State, Georgia, and Oklahoma.
Okay. Notre Dame, Ohio State, Georgia, and Oklahoma.
Yep, 4 brand new teams.
Okay.
Jason, you go next. This is right up your alley. Go.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I thought about this whenever I was reading it earlier, and I'm trying to freaking pull up this stuff that I have here because I'm not sure how much I feel like it's super bold, except because the last couple of years it hasn't been, right? You've had different semifinalists for the last 2 seasons. Aside from that, though, it's very bold because every year of the college football playoff up until the last season of the 4-team playoff, you had minimum of 2 of the same teams make it, right?
Yeah, the 4-team playoff had a lot of repeats.
Yeah, there was a lot of. I mean, look, a lot of times you had 3, and obviously with Alabama and Clemson playing, each other for what, 4, 5 times,
Yeah,
for the national championship, 4 times in the national championship, another time in a semifinal matchup. I mean, it was pretty legit, but. But if you look at the last couple of years, though, the last 3 years you haven't had the same that have made it in as far as semifinalists are concerned. Of course, last year it being, Miami, pretty much all new.
It was all new. So
it was all new. Yeah, Oregon.
I think the boldness is here: no Oregon, no Indiana, and no Miami. If you take those 3 teams out of the loop, I think that's
Oregon, Indiana, or Miami. That does ramp it up. Okay, that does ramp it up.
That makes it a little more difficult. So you've basically got, the number 4 team on the 4th and 5th team with most odds is Indiana or Oregon, right? They have the odds, and then Miami's in the top 8. Ole Miss is falling. Of course, I'm also saying Ole Miss isn't going on a heater again. So that have them falling out, but I'm not sure I see Ole Miss making the playoffs at all. So. I don't know how bold that would be because they actually have a schedule this year that they have to play. So yeah, so that's what I think about that. So
yeah, I'd probably be on this though because of the fact that it's been different every year. And
all right,
I mean,
I had to come crashing down to earth a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like a seven and a
But
half, seven and a half.
I think the part of it that's surprising though is the fact that for the people that don't think that the NIL and transfer portal has changed the game of college football, you ought to think again because just the last 3 seasons have shown you that NIL has really kind of taken hold along with the portal and it's spread out that talent.
Yeah,
So even
the
though I
depth
know that
isn't
the Big
there.
Ten is they're pounding their chest right now that they've won 3 in a row. I don't know that you may see that again for a while of anybody's winning 3 in a row if it continues the way that they're doing things now. And I mean, I have no belief that it's not going to continue doing it because I think that the SEC and Big Ten are not on the same page as far as expansion. I don't believe in this Cruz Cantwell legislation whatsoever. I think that that's going to fall by the wayside. So I think you're going to stick at 12, and I think it's going to stay as is for a while. And so I don't really see this. I think that you're probably going to have a new champion every year. I think a new champion is going to happen this year, whether it comes from the Big Ten or not. We'll see. But I have a hard time believing that it won't be either like Ohio State or I think it's going to be Notre Dame, which I mean, it goes away from that team, and that's I mean, maybe it's Notre Dame. That's where I've kind of got it, but to start with, I say boldness wise, I'll give it a for none of them to make it back in. I'm going to say I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8.0 just
Final
because of the
four.
fact that I think that that's for none of them to make it back in
To the semis, to the semis.
to the semis. Yeah, I think that that's pretty bold because
All right.
yeah. Go ahead, Kchris, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
How about you?
Not only, I mean, I'm trying to come up with a different score and reasoning than Jason, but I mean, that's the reason why I let him kind of go first. I was like, I know I'm probably gonna align with whatever he would say because, yeah, I think you know what, it is really bold though because, say you said OU, Georgia, Notre Dame, and Ohio State.
Yep. That's my foursome.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah,
And Ohio State's in there because they beat Texas. So
Okay.
that's why if someone says, why are you just picking Texas just to be spiteful? No. I think Ohio State upsets Texas, and that's one of the reasons why Texas is out. So
Got you.
I think it certainly makes it tougher on UT if they don't beat Ohio State at home.
yep. So those are the 4 teams I have. I have Notre Dame, Georgia, 2 SEC teams in for the first time in the new playoff system in that group. Sorry, Texas and UGA were in there in the first round, right? Have that right? Yeah, I think so. And the
Yeah, they
semis.
just haven't made the final in 3 years.
Yep. So I think that's we're gonna have a different national championship game, different champion, and 4 different teams. So I'm sticking with that. So Kchris, you like about an 8.5?
Yeah.
All right, Kchris, we're moving from your positively your boldness that was so bold Jason wasn't even willing to respond to it really, to you
Hey,
with
Chris, did you give us the score though?
yeah.
8.5.
8.5. I got a score from him.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we moved from your bold pick of you smoking bear peyote to Alabama loses 3 games this year.
So obviously Jason gave me a lot of flack. Like, that's not bold. It's not this. The reason why I say it like this right here is simply because of this right here. I think that this is the beginning of the real decline. I think that these past couple of years, the first year that kind of is what it is. You blame that on Milroe. You can blame that on coaching, whatever you want to do. This last season, yeah, they lost 3 games, but I mean, at the end of the day, they still made the playoffs. They got us at home. I mean, it kind of is what it is, right? But I think this is the year where you start to really see that decline. I don't think that they will be able to skate through like they used to. And not to say that he won't have
The fact that they lost 3 games each of the last 2 seasons, that's not a decline.
But
because
you're
they're
not
going to a
you're not
9-game
hearing me. You're
schedule.
not hearing me. he was living off of a lot of Saban products, a lot of different things. To me, this is kind of the first true year where you're like, hey, this is really his imprint. These are his guys. This is his type of team that he wants to field. I think another thing that kind of separates is that we talked about it long ago and we learned the hard way. Chris Mason, you may know where I'm going with this, as I talked to you about this a couple of shows ago. But we learned it the hard way. We got all the rah-rah and all the rest of this trying to get behind Jackson Arnold. And in the SEC is very unforgiving. So even if it's Austin Mack or Keelan Russell, I don't think that you're running out there with either a true freshman or a first year starter and automatically just going to have success like that, just where you're just ripping it off, especially with a grub system to where we saw last year. There were a bunch of nut up games where Ty Simpson really put Alabama on his back and carried them down the stretch. So to
All right,
me,
hold
I
on.
think
Let me just fight you on this for a second, because I think that first and foremost, I don't think Ty Simpson was that freaking great. Number one, number two, that yes, they've got different kind of offensive linemen. What Grubb does, he's always had small ones. He's always had small, quicker, not so heavy dudes that are like 6'7" and 350 that can't move their feet. They've got more guys that they're trying to do it now. I don't know how much it works in the SEC, what they try to do. You could be right about this, but here's what I would tell you: the reason that I feel like it's not a huge deal if they do fall back to 3 losses. I don't think that's bold. I don't think it's hugely bold. If there is any boldness to it, it's because I think they got a generational quarterback in Keelan Russell that's going to be playing, and their receiving core is legit. I went to the A-Day game, and as good as I think that their defense is, and I think that's another reason that they should still be pretty good. 3 losses, I don't believe is. We just talked about it. Doesn't necessarily take you out of contention for the playoff. Just depends on how the rest of it play. I think a lot of teams may end up with 3 losses.
so.
I think Oklahoma could end up with 3 losses.
My only pushback on that is, again, we're talking about a freshman. He can be generational and all the rest of that stuff that you want to throw out there, those adjectives. But we're talking about a freshman. When we talk about Ty Simpson last year, Jason, look at the concepts. Look at the formations that they want to run. Those when you're talking about those bunch formations, those tight formations, different things like that, where they're having to make a lot of different decisions and make great decisions because what? They don't have a run game. They can talk about these running backs being better this year, and they're going to do this. They're going to make a more concerted effort. We got to see it. They didn't have a run game last year. He made a lot of plays. He made a lot of big time throws in that offense, and that's without having what you would call your superstar, your generational wide receiver, your talent in a Ryan Williams, even play half as good as he did his freshman year. I mean, I just feel like we're asking a lot of a freshman to come in here and now just continue that, keep that going.
But this is a
And
freshman that can
with
do
that
better
offense, and with that offense again, we know it's an option style of offense. When not from the running aspect, but when you get to the wide receivers, they have options on top of their routes. They're running the NFL system. So for me, that's a lot to sit there and ask Keelan Russell, Austin Mack, whoever the hell you want to, especially when you don't have a run game to back that up. I'm just not confident that they're going to replace some of the first rounders that they had go to the draft, and some of the guys they went to go to the draft. And then all of a sudden we're supposed to believe in that a true freshman quarterback, and then also
He's
the
not a
lack
true
of a
freshman.
running
He's
game.
a second-year player.
Well, okay. Well, your first year plus starting in this offense, both of them first year starting in the SEC. That's going to be
Ty
tough.
Simpson was in his first year starting in the offense too. He was left over from Saban.
Okay, so, Kchris, let's throw back to the boldness here, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Again, that's why I'm saying I don't think it's bold. I've got it 0.75. I
That's
think
fine.
them losing 3
That's
games
fine.
is like
That's fine. Because when you look at it again, when you look at all the stuff they're running, we could talk about it. We've talked about it plenty of time. I've watched you talk about several freshmen, all the rest of these people in their first year, this and that, they're going to struggle, all the rest of that. And then all of a sudden, now we're supposed to believe Keelan Russell is going to come in here.
We're not necessarily believing that.
that's not necessarily what I'm saying. They could lose 3 games. I don't think that what I'd say was the only bold part of it is that you're saying you're not saying it with 3 losses. you're saying you're saying that this is the real decline for them. I think if it's a real decline, it would be something like
7 and
5
5.
losses.
7 and
You
5
know,
would have been bold.
that's not where I don't think that it's bold in that I could see 3 losses. I could also see them not
I should
losing
have
3
put three
because they
plus
don't have the
I
toughest
like I
schedule.
said I was the first time. I just put three just to get it done. But no, I think this is a
If you're
start of
saying,
like
if
a
you're okay,
serious
you
decline.
want to say that they're losing more than 3 games this year?
Yes, I think
All right.
this is
If
the
you so
part of the serious
that puts them
decline.
at 8 and 4 or lower. I would give that definitely like a 7, because when you look at their schedule, it's they get FSU at home. They got to go to Kentucky early. They got the games that the 3 games, the 4 game stretch that decides their season and maybe Kalen DeBoer's tenure is they have Georgia, Tennessee, and they're at Tennessee, Texas A&M at LSU in a 4 game sequence, right? If they split that, they're fine, right? If they drop 3 of those games, then they're going to lose some. They're going to pick up another loss somewhere else in that season and go 8. They're going to go 8 and 4. If you ask me what Bama's going to do this year, unless Russell just is again one of those redshirt freshman elite kind of Mike Vick kind of
Or the
quarterbacks, and
Lawrence type of guys.
yeah, just the guy from Louisville whose name I can't remember with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson.
Jackson,
He has a Lamar Jackson, and he has that potential.
Yeah.
But the problem for me with
He's got
Bama,
he can throw better than Lamar does.
yeah,
But
the problem
when
for
I
me is that
okay.
it's their O line
Yeah.
and their running game. And they're soft. They're not. They're a finesse team in a physical league, and it's not gonna. And their rebuilt offensive line, it's just not. I saw the guys
Well,
they
how is
picked
this
up.
bold then? How is this bold then?
Well, I think it's if you say that. Well, I think it's bold because their schedule is. It's not OU schedule. It's not Texas's schedule. They've got 4 really, depending upon what happens with Auburn, and I don't know what to make of the Golish experiment. They have a 4 game season of Georgia, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and LSU, and they get 2 of those games at home. And DeBoer seems to. We'll see if DeBoer's regular season mojo over Smart continues. Maybe that's broken. But I would say if Alabama's losing 4 or more games this year, that's at least a 7 for me.
And you just added a clarifying point that I wanted to make to this. I'm not saying that they just lose 3 games. They lost 3 games last year, and one of those was in the SEC championship game. They still made the playoffs, so on and so forth. My thing is that this year right here is the serious decline to where they lose 3+ games in a way that where they don't make any type of championship game, no postseason run. They go to a bowl game and that's it. I think that this is the beginning of decline. I'm going off of this just simply for kind of the national perspective that's been put out there that Bama is still a top. I would say probably a top 15, top 10 like team that a lot of people are trying to quote them as in national media. You know who you are, but. To me, that's kind of what I'm going off of, but more or less to the fact of I think that this is kind of his really a true year for DeBoer and company to say, hey, we got our guys in here now. Let's see what this system.
So you think the Saban credit value is gone, and this is the first season you should say whether DeBoer can handle this job or not.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
I think this
and
is
you
the
think,
first.
And you think he doesn't? He's going to lose more
No.
than 3 games, and the natives in Bama are going to be just it's pitchforks and lanterns time.
Jason and I agree on
Here's
that.
the thing
fact
about
right
that
there.
though.
Go ahead.
They just re-signed him to an extension that would pay. They're not firing him at $60 million that they're going to owe him.
Well, they're not that. They don't have the kind of cash for that. They don't. Bama's not a rich football program. They're just not.
No.
I'll go up to a 7.0 because I don't see them really losing 4+ games this year. Even though this schedule, I mean, I can see a few losses on here.
I think you're kind of looking towards next season, the season after, when he when Keelan Russell or Austin Mack or whoever is really second year playing in the system, not just playing wise, but just second year playing the system. But I think this is the year right here where it could get a little bit interesting because I don't think that the Florida State game was an anomaly. I think that is something that you could see as a continuous theme throughout the DeBoer years there. I just think that with not really a solid run game, because I mean, nothing really changed. Nothing has really evolved in that offense, if you ask me, since the last time, since Washington, whenever they played Texas, when they played Texas in that last playoff game, I was like, you guys can beat them, but you got to air the ball out. You're not going to be able to just run at Sweat and Murphy all day. And plus, if you're going to run the ball, run at the edges. Don't run and right up the gut. That's stupid. That's what Texas wants you to do. Once they started attacking the edges, they started winning. But as it translated to the SEC, it hasn't yet. It hasn't really made an impact. They haven't really, they got some bell cows. They got some talent back there, but it hasn't happened. I thought Jed Miller would be good because I thought he had versatility, but it just never really.
They're relying on the running back. I think his name's Crowell.
Yeah.
Isaiah Crowell, who was hurt all spring. They're relying on him to be their savior running the ball. They are. Yeah. And we'll see if that happens. But they're a fascinating team. Like I said, they got a 4-game schedule where if they don't go 2-2 in that stretch, the wheels could fall apart a little bit. If they drop a game before Georgia, they're in real trouble. And they're in real trouble. So, because if that 4-game stretch with no bye weeks, nothing in between, and they're not a physical team. They could get beat up.
Being on the road at Tennessee, they've got A&M at home, but at LSU, and then obviously Georgia leading that all off.
I prefer
coming off of Mississippi State.
I'd prefer split there, right? I'd prefer to go to Georgia because you're going to lose to Georgia anyway. I'd prefer to have Tennessee at home and have LSU at home and go to A&M because, I'm not high on A&M this year, so I think
I'm not either. But I think, and that's where I feel like that. I like Keelan Russell because I saw him out there, and I think that he probably could have won the job as a true freshman. What I saw from him in the A-Day game was the offensive line hadn't really gelled, and there were some times that their defensive front was able to get back there, and Keelan Russell was making throws off platform, able to move around in the pocket and make throws down the field. He's dynamic. He's got a dynamic arm and he can run. So I think that they're just the fact that you have to honor that he can run the football as well. Mm-hmm. And if their offensive line gels into what they're, what you keep hearing out of there from the creator side of it is that offensive line is going to be pretty good, but it's just going to be different. Now, more finesse, more quickness, and getting out into space and stuff like that, where you can move linemen around a lot. You see teams do that. You've seen them do that at Washington. Mm-hmm. I don't know that their running game is going to be ever what it was when Nick Saban was there because I agree with you. I don't think that he's that kind of coach. But I don't think that I'm not ready to write them off completely. I think Kalen DeBoer's a good coach. Whether or not it works out at Alabama or not, we'll see. Yeah. But I don't think this schedule tells me I have a hard time believing that Vanderbilt's going to beat them. I mean, maybe Tennessee, Georgia, but I don't think much of A&M, LSU. They seem to have LSU's number, but LSU should be a monster. I can see them losing 3. I can't really see them going much further than that. That's why I think that 4 is probably a little bit more.
All right, Jason, we're at an hour and a half, so let's get your final prediction in and go from there.
All right, real quick, Jimmy, so let me pull it back there. But I've been kind of going back and forth on this, but dang it, 1 second. I've been kind of going back and forth on this, but I think that where I'm at on it is I think that Notre Dame wins the national championship this year. I think their schedule sets up similarly to what we saw from Indiana last year. I know people don't think much of them, but I think that when they get to the playoff, I think that they're going to be a monster. I think that I like the Final Four that you were talking about there at the end. I know a lot of people might think it's bold. I don't know how bold this really is more than I think of it, but I think that Notre Dame wins the national championship, and I think they go undefeated as well. Undefeated, you're muted there.
Pull up their schedule again, Jason.
Oh yeah, let me
You
do it.
will, sir.
So wins title and goes undefeated, because that's two separate things there. Are you combining both of those?
Yes.
All right, that's a whole other level of. I would say, based upon the fact they're the number 2 gambling favorite to win, or number 2 or 3, I would say wins title is not that bold. Going undefeated, with the way Marcus Freeman has found a way to lose games, doesn't lose a lot of them. He just has a wacky weird game every once in a while.
The Notre Dame curse.
Maybe he's got too much talent for there. I'll give that a 7. If the undefeated part takes it from about a 5 to a 7. Because they could lose to Miami, go 11-1, and do exactly what you're talking about. Win the national championship.
I mean, Jason, how high can I go? Can I go 12.5?
You can go and try it wherever you want.
It's the unpredictability about Notre Dame. The Notre Dame curse is what I like to call it. Each year they drop a game to somebody they have no business losing to. Last year they shouldn't even lost that game to Carson Beck and company, but they just made a couple of man plays down the stretch. You can't really help that, when somebody gets hot and they start making incredible catches down the line. I mean, it just kind of is what it is. But as much as
the A&M game, right? The lacrosse guy fumbled the snap, and that's why they lost that game.
As much as I want to say, hey, I can see them losing to Rice. I mean, that's not out of the question. They lost to Northern Illinois. I'm not going to go there and go crazy. But no, I don't see Notre Dame winning the national championship. I think with seeding or whatnot, and I don't necessarily see, if they were to make the playoffs, I don't necessarily see them being a high seed. I think that they're going to either host a game or they're going to have to go on the road. So it'll be interesting, but I think it'll come down to seeding for me. But as far as winning the national championship, I don't necessarily think that they do that. I again, the running back, and I may eat crow. And Jason, I'll tell you, hey, I'll apologize to you and say, hey, I was wrong. I just don't think that they're going to be able to replace those two.
Like I'm praying for this to happen. I hope Oklahoma.
Oh no! I know. No, I'm talking about strictly that the running back that they have in the waiting is going to be all world. I think that it's hard to just replace those two guys. I mean, if
his
you
dad
said,
was a Hall of Famer, by the way.
Huh?
Aeneas Williams' dad is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I get it. But, it'd be one thing we're just saying, hey, can you replace Jeremiah Love? And you say, hey, that's one guy. He was incredible. But to replace 2 first-round backs, I think that's asking a lot. So it'll be interesting to see if the weapons that they got, which were a couple of 5-star freshmen.
They're going to have to depend on C.J. Carr being
exactly. He's going to have to
up for that with his arm, right?
Mm-hmm. There's going to be a bunch of games where he's going to have to go out there and win it. When you look at this, I say bunch of games. There's a couple of games on here where he's going to have to do that. Don't sleep on SMU though. I think they could be interesting. Can Jennings get back to form there? That'd be the interesting part.
They think that that's their best team since Lashley got there.
Mm-hmm. I think winning the title is possible if C.J. Carr has a good. I'll be honest. I'm not worried about the running back thing so much. They've recruited really well there. They have a system. They plug guys in and out of there. I know they don't need Jeremiah Love if C.J. Carr raises his game, and maybe it's a little bit more running back by committee. So that's not the area where I worry about it. It's the only question I really have is do they truly have outside speed, right? Do they finally have wide receivers that can force the issue with speed on the outside? Because otherwise you can stop if you can stop their running game, if you have a physical enough defense. And C.J. Carr, they got good tight ends. They don't have world breakers at tight end. They got good guys. They have good guys. They develop good guys. It's if their receiver group can take a big step up. I
Mm-hmm.
see this prediction's possible, right? Because their defense is going to be loaded. The cornerback Moore, everyone's saying he's the top 10 pick. They've got good players at linebacker. Down their front seven's good. Their secondary's good. So they're going to be very Oklahoma-like on defense with what they return, right? They've got, we've got David Stone and Wine returning. They've got this Moore kid at cornerback, right? So they've got the guys. Can they break the cycle of having playmakers at wide receiver that force you to respect them, where you're not being able to just overplay their run? And if they actually have that, and Carr can deliver that ball, because I think their O-line will be good. They've got guys back. They've got good high school recruited talent there. Again, they got a system, but it's the wide receivers to me. That's if it's the wide receivers to me in terms of Notre Dame. You tell me they have a real, legit, good.
They have 2 transfers from Ohio State that are on the.
And that's been good for most people, right? But it's not a guarantee, right? Not a guarantee they're going to be good.
Right.
I mean, because
Jordan Faison was also really very good last year, and kind of became that primary. And then they've got guys like Kadon Finley and Dylan Faison, who's like the little
no,
brother.
they're good. They're good, Jason. But to win a title and facing the teams they're going to have to go through to win a title, they're going to have wide receivers. Just like Oklahoma, right? You're going to need a couple of wideouts to make big plays against legit secondaries. That's been Notre Dame's weakness. So they've got the pieces.
No, I agree with that. I would agree with that.
They've got the pieces, but I just haven't seen it from them. Like it's hard to tell because last year they dropped the 2 early games.
Porter and Mylan Graham are the 2 guys that are coming from Ohio State, by the way.
Yeah, and those are guys. Trust me, I remember those guys from recruiting. Their recruiting rankings were sky high. So. But that's the question: can those guys put them over the top at wide receiver, or does somebody else step up for them? Right? But they've got to have that. They've got to have Carr's. Carr's got to have a difference maker at wide receiver to get them through the defenses they're eventually going to face in the playoffs. Not in their regular schedule, but in the playoffs. Right? It's a different level. They'll run into teams that can stop the run, and can C.J. Carr find an open wide receiver to make that big play. And I don't know that. That's the boldness in this. The undefeated part is really difficult, but they have the best schedule to go undefeated in the regular season of anybody in the top 10, in the preseason top 10. So, but the title's it's going to be difficult for them to win a title. I mean, they are, but they have. This is their shot. They need to take advantage of this window.
I would agree with that. I think that
so wide open.
Listen, and I think that if they don't, I think that there's, I think right now Marcus Freeman loves where he is, but I could see him taking off and being an NFL coach at some point. And there has been some pushback on him getting the coaches that he wanted and stuff like that. If they don't find a way, I think that window may be kind of closing up too. So I feel like this is kind of the time for them to do it. I love him as a coach, though. I think he's done a really good job.
Yeah.
And I'm a Mike Denbrock fan. I think the guy does a really good job of having a balanced offense that they run.
Yeah, if they get wide receiver, if they can get if you tell me they have a true star wide receiver, I'm like, yeah, this prediction makes sense to me. If they're still kind of like, well, it's still a little bit of the by the committee thing, then I'm like, yeah, they're going to face some teams with good defenses that are going to force, that can shut down the run and force C.J. Carr to make plays. I think he probably will I think the trend line for him is moving up. He's a returning starter. That all trends well. And I like their O-line and their defense. I think is good, and they're going to be able to build depth through the season with this bad schedule they have. So that they'll be they may be more rested than the other major competitors going into December because of their schedule. I mean, so they may be playing more people, and playing and leveraging their depth more than other folks who are going to have tough. I mean, their November, other than Miami's, not super difficult. So I mean, and they don't have to play a championship game, right? They don't have to play a Big Ten or an SEC championship game. So I think that can help them. It may hurt them seeding wise, but it could. But if they're undefeated, they're going to be a top 4 seed. We just know that. I mean, that's the way the committee has sort of established
Well,
things.
yeah, I think if they lose 2 games, they're probably still a top 12 team. Although it could hurt them. It may
Very
not.
close.
It could be razor sharp. I have a hard time believing that they lose more than 1 though. And at the end of
Yeah.
it,
If they lose
I
2
think
games,
really the
they're-
hard part would be the undefeated thing, because I think that if you don't find, I think it's harder to be undefeated and win the national championship with more games. And I almost feel like you need one of those to refresh your mind. You need an L somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, but I think it's very, very. It's not the undefeated part is bold. I mean, if you had bet preseason Indiana was going to go undefeated and win the national championship, I would. If you had predicted that to me, I would have said boldness scale. That's like a 12. What are you talking about? They couldn't. The 2 best teams they played, they were non-competitive against. No way. So the year to year improvement and all that, yeah, it's a challenge. But I think it's Notre Dame winning the
I
title.
don't know how bold I really think it is. I think that after getting left out of the playoff and they felt like they deserved it so much, I mean, I thought that they acted like babies, just like everybody else did. I thought it was ridiculous the way that they opted out of having a bowl game and all that other stuff. But that's a full month of practices that they missed out on. I think that was but I do think
silly.
motivation wise,
Yeah,
I think
it's there.
probably did something for them there.
It's a tightrope. So, all right, guys, I think I need to head out. It's late Atlanta time. So, thanks, guys, for this, and I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, guys, appreciate everybody coming in. Let us know what you think. What are your bold predictions? Leave them in the comment section. We'll see you all on the next one.